This story begins deep in the wild. A lion cub's desperate cry cuts through the savanna air, echoing like a call for help no one can ignore. The sound rises and falls, raw and haunting, bouncing off the dry earth and thorny acacia trees. You can almost feel the panic trembling in that voice, a small life crying out against the vast silence of Africa. The morning sun has barely climbed when your jeep rolls along the dusty trail. The air smells of dust and heat, the kind that burns your lungs before noon. You tighten your grip on the steering wheel, ears straining again for the sound. It comes once more, shorter this time, weaker, fading into the distance. In this unforgiving land, survival is never guaranteed. So before we dive in, take a moment to like this video and subscribe, but only if you truly enjoy these emotional stories. And tell us in the comments, which wild animal do you feel the strongest connection with? A sudden shape moves ahead. You slam the brakes. Gravel sprays beneath your tires. Standing in the middle of the road is a full-grown male lion, his mane glinting gold in the sunlight. His chest heaves as he locks eyes with you, not with rage, but with a strange, urgent focus. For a heartbeat, time freezes. Instinct screams at you to stay still. Every fiber of your being tells you lions don't beg. They command, they hunt. But this one is different. He takes a cautious step forward, then another. His massive paw presses into the dirt. His tail flicks once, twice. Then with a low, guttural rumble, he lowers his head, not to threaten, but to plead. You can hardly breathe. The great beast's amber eyes seem to say, "Follow me, please." The savanna wind whispers through the grass, and the cub's cry rings again, faint, desperate, somewhere ahead. You realize the truth. This lion isn't blocking your path. He's asking for help. Slowly, you shift the jeep into neutral, heart hammering against your ribs. The lion turns his head toward the horizon, then back at you. He takes one deliberate step off the road, looks over his shoulder, and growls softly, an invitation, a command, and a plea all at once. The air hums with tension. Your hands tremble on the wheel. Somewhere out there, a cub's life hangs by a thread. You take a deep breath, glance at the endless grass ahead, and whisper to yourself, "All right, big guy, I'm coming." As the lion starts walking into the tall savanna grass, you follow, unaware that what waits ahead will test both courage and compassion in ways you've never imagined. But just beyond that first bend in the trail, something stirs. The lion moves with purpose, heavy paws flattening the grass, mane flickering gold under the morning light. Every few steps, he looks back, checking if you're still behind him. There's urgency in his gait, but not aggression. His sides heave with exhaustion, dust clinging to his fur, as if he's been running for hours. You trail him slowly, engine idling low. Your pulse drums in your ears. Lions aren't supposed to act like this, not toward humans, not in broad daylight. Yet here he is, a father leading a stranger through the wild, as though trusting you with his soul. A gust of dry wind cuts through the savanna, carrying the faint echo of that same cry, weaker now, muffled but still alive. The lion freezes, ears twitching. He answers with a deep, trembling growl that's less of a roar and more of a broken whisper. It's a sound you've never heard before, part warning, part heartbreak. You park the jeep and step out cautiously, boots crunching the dirt. The lion turns, eyes locking on you again. He lowers his head and takes two uncertain steps forward. For a second, the world shrinks to just you and him, two living beings connected by one desperate cause. You raise your hands slowly, speaking in a soft, steady tone. "It's okay. I'm here to help." The lion blinks, nostrils flaring. Then, to your disbelief, he sinks slightly onto his front legs, a posture that's neither attack nor rest, but surrender. His jaws tremble. He lets out a low, guttural sound that seems to say, "Please hurry." Your heart tightens. You notice small streaks of blood on his mane, old scratches, maybe from trying to claw something open. His claws are dulled and broken at the tips. He must have been digging, searching, fighting the earth itself to free his cub. The air grows hotter. Flies buzz around your ears. The lion paces back and forth in agitation, then suddenly sprints ahead, tail rigid, muscles rippling. You grab your water bottle and follow on foot. The sound of buzzing insects fades, replaced by the hollow moan of wind rushing through a crevice. You feel the ground beneath your boots grow uneven, fractured, sandy, unstable. And then you see it, a depression in the ground. A dark hole surrounded by loose dirt and claw marks. The lion stops at its edge and lets out a deep, trembling roar that echoes far across the plains. You step closer, peering down, and the cry returns, faint but unmistakable. At the bottom, barely visible in the shadow, lies a small, trembling cub. Its fur matted with dust, its tiny paws scratching helplessly at the slick walls of the well. The father circles the rim, nose pressed to the edge, whining softly. Every time he leans closer, pebbles crumble into the darkness below. He's terrified of falling in, but even more terrified of leaving. Your throat tightens. There's no way he can reach the cub on his own. He knows it. That's why he came to you. You kneel at the edge, voice shaking. Hang on, little one. We'll get you out. The lion freezes, watching you closely, golden eyes reflecting both fear and fragile hope. And just as you reach into your backpack for rope, a deep rumble of thunder rolls across the horizon. Storm clouds gathering. Time is running out. But in the tall grass behind you, something else moves. The sound in the tall grass freezes your breath. You spin toward it, heart pounding, half expecting another lion. But the father doesn't react. His gaze stays fixed on the horizon, ears angled forward. Whatever moved, it isn't part of his pride. You listen. The grass settles. A breath of wind sighs across the field. The lion turns back to you and lets out a short grunt, something between a growl and a command, then starts moving again, circling wide around the pit. He pauses at intervals, sniffs the ground, then looks back. He wants you to follow a new path, somewhere just beyond the line of trees ahead. You grab your gear and trail after him, every step sinking into soft earth. Your boots leave deep prints beside the massive paw tracks. The air smells of clay and old water, the scent of a place that once held rain but hasn't in months. Overhead, vultures spiral lazily. The lion glances upward, snarls and quickens his pace. His movements are tense now, jerky, as if he senses unseen danger. You keep your distance, matching his rhythm, but ready to dive for cover if he changes his mind about you. A flash of movement catches your eye. A second lion, smaller, slinking along the ridge to your left. Your breath catches, but then you see her. A lioness, ribs visible under thin skin, eyes fixed not on you, but on the pit. The father notices her too. His posture changes instantly, protective, dominant. She whines low, and he answers with a rumble that shakes the air. They don't fight. Instead, she presses her head briefly against his shoulder. A sound passes between them that's older than language. Then she retreats into the grass, staying near but letting him lead. You realize this isn't just a rescue, it's the last hope of a family. You reach the line of trees. The lion stops beside an old termite mound and looks toward the horizon. A few yards away, an abandoned village well stands, half hidden under weeds, the opening ringed with cracked stones. You can see the rope groove on the rim, a sign of how deep it must go. You move closer. The lion follows, shoulders brushing the leaves. His breath rasps beside you, thick with heat and dust. When you glance down, the darkness below swallows the light. Then faintly you hear it again, the cub's cry, higher now, echoing off the damp walls. You drop to your knees and call down. The echo returns, weaker but alive. The lion paces beside you, growling in distress. You speak quietly, almost instinctively. Easy, big guy. I hear him. Then a sudden gust of wind drives sand into your eyes. You blink it away and notice fresh claw marks on the inner edge of the well, signs of desperate digging. The father must have been here all night. As you take out your flashlight and rope, something metallic gleams near the base of the mound, an old piece of wire fencing. Maybe strong enough to make a makeshift hook. You pull it free, mind racing with possibilities. Behind you, thunder growls again. The storm is rolling closer, black clouds swelling like waves. If rain hits, the well could flood within minutes. You glance at the lion. He's staring at you, motionless except for the steady rise and fall of his chest. Between you, a silent pact forms. If you fail, the cub drowns. You whisper, "We don't have much time." The lion's tail lashes once. He turns, facing the dark horizon, as if ready to defend you from whatever's coming. And from that horizon, a low, eerie howl answers back, closer than you'd like. But that's not the wind. The howl rises again, distant but real this time. A cruel note that slides beneath the thunder. Hyenas. The scavengers of the savannah have caught the scent of fear and desperation, and they are coming. You hurry to the well's edge. The lion's muscles ripple beneath his coat as he growls toward the sound, a low warning that rolls through the ground itself. His mane flicks in the rising wind. The cub's cries echo again, muffled by depth and echoing stone. You shine your flashlight downward. The beam catches the trembling outline of a small body, soaked in mud, tiny paws scraping at the wall that offers no hold. You measure the drop with your eyes, 15, maybe 20 feet. Too far to climb, too dangerous to jump. The father moves closer, nose hovering just over the rim, nostrils flaring as if he could pull his cub up with scent alone. He lets out a sound so broken, so human in its anguish, that it pierces you. You whisper, "I'll get him out. I promise." You rummage through your jeep for anything useful, a coil of rope, an old blanket, a crowbar. Each item hits the ground beside the well. The lion's eyes follow every motion. You can feel the weight of his trust pressing on you like the storm clouds above. The first drops of rain splatter on the dirt. They sizzle on the metal hood, dot your arms with cold, dark circles. The scent of wet earth rises like steam. You tie the rope around your waist, knot it to the bumper of the jeep, test the tension. The fibers groan but hold. You inch to the rim, plant your boots, and lean in. The cub looks up. Its eyes, wide, glassy, uncomprehending, catch the flicker of your light. You can see its tiny sides heaving, the ribs expanding with effort. Mud clings to its fur, water glistening around its paws. The pit is deeper than it looked. The lion roars suddenly, tail whipping, ears flattened. You flinch, nearly lose balance, then realize he's not roaring at you, he's roaring at the shadows beyond the trees. Shapes move there, dark and sinuous. Hyenas, 3, maybe 4, slinking closer in the rain. You curse under your breath and pull your flashlight beam toward them. Their eyes gleam green in the dark. One laughs, a short barking sound. Another steps forward, testing the lion's resolve. He lowers his body, teeth bared, and releases a roar so fierce that the night itself seems to tremble. The hyenas hesitate. For a moment, the storm pauses too. You take that chance, drop the rope, and begin lowering your makeshift hook. The metal scrapes stone, sparks flashing in the dark. The cub yelps in fright, then clings to the wall. You whisper reassurance into the abyss, voice shaking, "Easy, little one. Just hold on." Lightning splits the sky, painting everything in blinding white. The lion, the well, your trembling hands. When the light fades, you see what the father already knew. The ground around the well is cracking, the old stones shifting. One strong gust, one wrong move, and the rim could collapse. The lion steps back, whining softly. He knows the danger, but his paws don't move far. His eyes stay locked on you, pleading. Rain thickens, drumming on your shoulders. You brace the rope again, dig your heels in. Mud slides beneath your boots. The cub's cry grows weaker, more ragged. You feel your breath shorten, your heart pounding against your ribs. Then in a sudden flash of lightning, you glimpse something else. A narrow tunnel near the base of the pit, half caved, leading somewhere deeper. The cub's trapped against its mouth, water already pooling around him. If that tunnel collapses, he'll be buried alive. The thunder rolls again, closer this time, shaking loose pebbles from the rim. The lion lets out a soft moan and steps even nearer, as if his weight could hold the world together. You stare into the darkness and whisper, "I have to go down there." But the rope creaks, stretched to its limit, and somewhere in the grass one hyena laughs again, closer now, tasting opportunity. The rain turns savage, hammering the earth like 1,000 drumbeats. The dry savanna transforms into a slick battlefield, mud swallowing footprints, lightning tearing open the sky. You brace yourself, tightening the rope around your waist, every breath burning with urgency. The lion stands just meters away, a shadow of muscle and fury against the storm. His mane drips with water. Each drop rolls down his muzzle, mixing with the dust and blood. He doesn't flinch at the thunder. He doesn't blink at the flashes. His focus is the well, and the tiny voice still crying for life inside it. You glance at the deep pit again. The cub's weak yelps come and go, fading under the hiss of rain. The water level is rising fast. If you wait much longer, the cub will drown. You call out, "Hold on, little one." Your voice cracks, half drowned by the storm. The lion growls softly, not in anger, but in answer. His gaze flicks to the hyenas circling the outer brush, eyes glowing pale in the darkness. They creep closer, slinking low, testing the space between courage and death. He moves to meet them. With a sudden burst of motion, the father lion charges. His roar rips through the night, a thunderclap of rage and desperation that shakes your bones. One hyena yelps, backing away. Another darts forward, only to meet a flash of claws. The impact echoes like a drumbeat. Dust and fur explode into the air. You watch in awe as the lion defends both you and his trapped cub, every movement driven by instinct, by love. He fights not for dominance, but for survival, and somehow, for you, the stranger he decided to trust. But he can't fight forever. You need to act now. You scramble back to the jeep, grab an old shovel, a tarp, and what's left of a tow cable. Your fingers slip on the wet metal as you knot the cable to the rope, lengthening it just enough. The wind howls, tugging at your jacket, soaking you through. "All right," you whisper, "this has to work." You loop the rope around your shoulder and lean into the pit. The walls are slick, the scent of wet earth heavy in your nose. Water splashes against your boots as you inch lower. The cub whimpers, trying to climb toward you. "Come on, little one, you're so close." Your fingers brush soft fur, cold and trembling. You grab gently under its chest, pulling upward, but the rope jerks violently. The mud gives way under your foot, sending a shower of dirt and stones cascading down. You slip, slam against the wall, and barely manage to hang on. The lion roars again, a sound that vibrates through the air like a living heartbeat. You can almost feel his panic mirror your own. He paces, snarling at the storm as if shouting it into silence. You tighten your grip, haul upward with everything you have. The rope burns your palms. Mud stings your eyes. The cub scrambles, tiny claws hooking your sleeve. Inch by inch, you drag it up the slick wall. Then, snap. The rope tears at the knot. You freeze, muscles locked, heart thundering. The cub slips, half a foot, a full foot, and dangles in the air. "No!" you shout, trying to grab higher, pulling against gravity. The lion lets out a roar that splits the night. For a moment, it feels like the sky itself is answering him. Your boots slide, the rain blinds you, your arms shake, and still somehow you hold on. But the earth groans beneath you, a deep, cracking sound that doesn't belong to thunder. The edge of the pit begins to crumble. You look up and see the father lion at the rim, digging frantically with his paws, trying to hold the soil together, trying to save both his cub and you. Mud pours down. The world tilts. You tighten the rope around your hand, whisper, "Don't let go." And then the ground gives way. You and the cub plunge into darkness. The fall feels endless. Air rushes past your ears, a roar louder than thunder. Then impact. Your back slams against cold mud, pain jolting up your spine. Water splashes over you, flooding your mouth with grit. You cough, gasping for breath, half blind in the darkness. The cub squeals somewhere near your arm, struggling weakly in the rising water. You push yourself upright, ignoring the ache in your ribs. The beam of your flashlight flickers, hanging by its strap. Mud drips from the walls like wet clay. You shine the light upward. 20 feet above, the circle of daylight has shrunk to the size of a coin. A shape leans over the rim, the lion, his massive head framed against the lightning-streaked sky. He lets out a sound that's half roar, half cry, a desperate call filled with panic. He can see you. He knows you're alive. You shout up, voice hoarse. "We're okay. Don't move." He answers with another low growl that vibrates down the shaft like thunder in your bones. You can see him pacing, circling, pawing at the ground as if he could dig the earth open with sheer will. The cub whimpers again. You sweep your flashlight across the pit and spot the tiny creature half submerged, its fur plastered with mud, its breathing shallow. The water has already climbed several inches since you fell. You have minutes, no more. You set the flashlight on a ledge and pull the rope toward you. The torn end flutters uselessly in your hand. You curse under your breath, searching your pockets. Nothing strong enough to climb out. You think fast. The old shovel. You dig it from the muck, wedge it into the wall as a foothold. It slides, but it's something. You jam the crowbar next to it, testing the resistance. If you can build a ladder of sorts, you might just climb. But not with the cub in your arms. The lion roars again, louder this time. The sound bounces off the walls and showers dirt over your head. He's calling, urging you to move faster. You turn to the cub. Its tiny chest rises and falls unevenly. You scoop it up, tucking it against your jacket, feeling its heartbeat tremble against your palm. "Stay with me, little one," you whisper. Then you look up at the wall. One step at a time. You jam your boot into the shovel, haul yourself upward. Mud slides beneath your foot. The cub squirms, crying out. The wall trembles. You grab at the crowbar, pull, reach for another crack, push again. Your muscles scream in protest, but you keep climbing. Halfway up, lightning flashes overhead, lighting the lion's silhouette in blinding white. He's right above you now, leaning dangerously close to the edge, eyes fixed on your every move. "Back, stay back!" You yell, fearing his weight might collapse the rim completely. But he doesn't listen. He's too desperate, too afraid to lose what's left of his family. The rain pours harder, a river cascading into the pit. The rope dangles uselessly beside you, half submerged, twisting like a snake. Your hand slips. The cub screams. For one horrifying second, you both fall again, but the crowbar catches your sleeve, halting you midair. Pain sears your arm, but you cling tighter. The lion roars above, echoing your struggle, as if he too can feel the burn of your muscles. You drag yourself up another few feet, panting, the cub pressed tight against you. The rim is within reach now, just a little higher, then a deafening crack. A section of the wall breaks free. You throw yourself sideways, shielding the cub as stones crash into the water below. You land against the opposite wall, vision swimming. The flashlight flickers, then dies. Darkness, only the rain and the ragged sound of breathing, yours and the cub's. You tilt your head back toward the faint circle of light. The lion's outline is still there, unmoving. For a terrifying moment you think he's gone. Then his tail flicks, slow and steady. He's waiting. Your mind races. You need a miracle, something stronger than rope, something to pull you both out. And then, through the roar of rain and thunder, you hear a new sound, a low rumble of an approaching engine. Headlights flare faintly in the distance. Help or danger? The sound of the engine grows louder, cutting through the storm like a lifeline. You tilt your head upward, blinking away rain and mud, your heart hammering with renewed hope. The lion looks toward the sound too, ears pricked, eyes glowing in the flashes of lightning. Then a voice carries over the wind. "Hello, is anyone out here?" You shout with everything left in your lungs. "Down here in the well. There's a cub." The lion spins toward the headlights, mane whipping, roaring a warning that shakes the ground. The driver slams on the brakes. The beam of the truck cuts through the storm, illuminating the scene like a film shot frozen in chaos. One man trapped below, one lion standing guard above. For a tense second, everything hangs in balance. The stranger steps out of the truck, one hand raised, the other gripping a flashlight. The beam lands on the lion's face. The animal's lips curl, teeth flashing white. You shout again, desperate. "Don't move. He's protecting his cub, just help us." The man freezes, then slowly lowers his light, understanding dawning across his face. He retreats to the truck, rummaging through the back, and you see him pull out something thick and heavy. A rescue rope. You can't believe it. Relief floods through you, sharp and dizzying. Above, the father lion watches every motion. The rain slicks his mane flat, his tail lashing nervously. The stranger tosses one end of the rope toward the well. It lands just shy of the edge, slipping on wet rock. The lion growls, stepping closer, teeth bared. "Easy," you yell up. "He's helping. It's okay." For a moment, the lion hesitates, eyes darting between you and the man. Then, as if understanding, he steps back. Just far enough. The rope drops over the rim, thudding into the mud beside you. You grab it instantly, testing its weight. The fibers are slick but strong. You loop it around your waist again, one arm cradling the cub tight. "Okay," you whisper to the trembling bundle in your arms. "We're going home." You tug twice on the rope, a signal. The man above braces himself and begins to pull. Every muscle in your body protests as you push off the crumbling wall, rising inch by inch toward the light. Water pours down your back, soaking the cub. The lion growls softly above, pacing the edge like a sentinel. Halfway up, thunder strikes so close the world goes white. The rope jerks once, twice, and suddenly slackens. You feel it slipping, sliding through your fingers. You scream, grabbing hold, but the knot unravels faster than you can react. The rope whips free from above, snapping against the wall. The cub cries out. The lion roars, a sound so loud it drowns out the thunder. It's not anger this time, it's terror. You crash back against the wall, boots scraping, barely catching a rock ledge. The cub presses into your chest, shaking violently. You cling there, soaked and breathless, staring up at the rim where the lion now stands frozen, roaring into the storm like a father calling the heavens themselves to help. Your vision blurs from exhaustion. You shout hoarsely, "We're okay." "Try again." The man above scrambles to retie the rope, rain hammering down harder. The lion paces, roaring at the sky until your bones vibrate with the sound. For a heartbeat, lightning frames him perfectly, his mane alight, eyes blazing, rain cascading around him, a living statue of courage, fury, and love. Then darkness swallows him again, and you can only hear his roar, a promise that he will not leave, not until his cub breathes free. But beneath the thunder you hear something new, the groan of breaking stone. The wall is giving way again. You look up, and the edge where the lion stands begins to crumble. The edge shatters with a crack like gunfire. Chunks of rock tumble down, splashing into the dark water below. The lion stumbles backward, his claws scraping for grip. You scream, "Get back!" But he doesn't move far enough. The ground collapses beneath him, and for a terrible instant, his golden body drops halfway over the rim. Instinct takes over. You throw one arm up toward him, even though you're 20 feet below, as if you could somehow catch a creature that weighs 500 pounds. But the lion's strength is as fierce as his love. His claws hook the edge, his muscles strain, and with a furious roar, he pulls himself back onto solid ground. He collapses, panting, then lets out a sound that cuts through the storm, not rage this time, but despair. You realize he thinks he's lost you. "Still here!" You yell, voice cracking through the wind. "We're still here." A beat of silence. Then above the lion stands again. He looks over the edge, eyes burning through the rain, and gives a single deep grunt, a sound that could almost mean hope. At that same moment, headlights blaze brighter. The ranger has arrived. The man climbs from the truck, a tall figure in a drenched uniform, radio clipped to his shoulder. He takes in the scene, the lion, the broken ground, the deep pit, and instantly moves into action. "Hold on," he shouts. "We're going to pull you out." He waves toward the other driver, who nods and ties the end of the rope to the truck's tow hitch. The ranger unspools the rest, knots it expertly, and lowers it down toward you. "Loop it tight, around both of you." You fumble with numb fingers, looping the line around your chest, and the cub pressed against you. The rope bites into your jacket. The cub whimpers softly, eyes wide but alive. Above, the lion paces near the ranger, tail lashing, torn between fear and faith. "Easy," the ranger murmurs toward him. "We're helping your boy." Something in his tone, calm, respectful, makes the lion pause. He stands still at last, mane plastered flat, muscles trembling with tension. You give the rope 2 sharp tugs. "Ready, the truck engine revs." The rope goes taut. You push off the slick wall, clutching the cub as the line lifts you slowly upward through the rain. The world narrows to the hum of the engine, the creak of the rope, the cub's weak heartbeat against your arm. Halfway up, a boulder breaks loose above you. You twist aside just in time as it crashes past, shaking the pit with its impact. Mud splashes your face, blinding you for a second. "Keep pulling!" you shout. "Don't stop!" The rope jerks, steady again. Light expands around you. Then finally your hand breaks through the rim. Strong arms grab your wrist, the ranger's. He hauls you over the edge in one final heave. You roll onto the wet grass, gasping, the cub still clutched against your chest. It trembles but breathes. The lion steps forward, enormous and silent. For a heartbeat you think he might attack. Instead, he lowers his head. Gently, impossibly gently, he nudges the cub from your arms with his nose. The little one gives a weak chirp. The father licks its head once, twice, then presses his forehead against its tiny body. The sound that escapes him isn't a roar, but a soft rumble. The sound of relief. The ranger steps back, awestruck. "I've never seen anything like that," he murmurs. You nod, still shaking. The rain softens, the thunder recedes, and the lion lifts his gaze to meet yours one last time. His eyes seem to say thank you, a language older than words. Then with a final glance, he turns toward the horizon where the clouds are breaking, the cub stumbling behind him. The storm is over. The savannah breathes again. But in the wet grass nearby, the broken rope still twitches, a quiet reminder of how close death came. The storm drifts away as quietly as it came. The air cools. The scent of wet earth and crushed grass lingers like smoke after a battle. A faint mist rises over the plains, softening the outlines of the trees and turning the world into shades of silver. The savannah exhales. You sit on the ground, drenched, muscles trembling, watching the silhouettes of the lion and his cub fade into the distance. The ranger stands beside you, breathing hard, the rope still looped around his hands. Neither of you speaks. There's nothing to say that could capture what just happened. The cub wobbles as it walks, still weak, its tiny paws sinking into the soaked soil. The father stays close, his massive body forming a living wall of protection. Every few steps he pauses and looks back, not with suspicion now, but with recognition. For a moment, his golden eyes meet yours once more. It's a look that speaks of an understanding few ever witness, respect between predator and man. You realize your hands are shaking. You glance down, mud, blood, and rope burns streak your skin. But you smile through the exhaustion. You did it. Against the storm, against fear, against everything that said it couldn't be done. A life was saved. The ranger breaks the silence. You should get checked out. That fall, you're lucky to be alive. You chuckle weakly. I think he made sure of that. The ranger follows your gaze toward the retreating lions. He trusted you, he says softly. That almost never happens. Not out here, you nod. He didn't have a choice. Sometimes desperation is stronger than fear. A distant rumble of thunder rolls across the sky, faint, almost like a sigh. The rain has stopped, but droplets still cling to every blade of grass, catching the moonlight that now filters through thinning clouds. Fireflies begin to appear, blinking gently in the shadows. The chaos has passed, and in its wake comes a quiet so complete it feels sacred. You and the ranger pack up what's left of the gear, the rope torn and frayed, the shovel bent nearly in half, the crowbar caked in mud, tools of chance that somehow became the bridge between two worlds, human and wild. When you turn toward the jeep, you stop one last time to look back. The lions have reached a small hill. The cub stumbles, and the father leans down, nudging him gently forward. Then, under the fading stormlight, they disappear into the tall grass. You listen to the sounds returning to the night, the chirp of insects, the distant hoot of an owl, the whisper of wind moving through wet leaves. Life steady and unbroken. The ranger calls out softly, "Ready?" You nod, climbing into the jeep. As the engine hums to life, you glance at the horizon, still glowing faintly orange, where the last sunlight touches the clouds. For a moment, you think you see them there, the lion and his cub, two golden shapes outlined by the setting sun, walking side by side into peace. You whisper to the night, "Take care of him, old friend." And the savannah, vast and endless, answers only with silence. The savannah lies quiet beneath a pale moon. every blade of grass shimmering with the memory of rain. The wind, once violent, now moves softly through the acacia trees, carrying only calm. You sit beside the jeep, watching the clouds drift apart to reveal a sky full of stars. The storm's fury feels distant now, like a dream fading with the dawn. In the far distance you glimpse two shapes moving along the ridge, the father lion and his cub side by side. The cub stumbles once, and the great lion lowers his head, nudging him gently onward. No cries now, no fear, only the rhythm of peace returning to the wild. You close your eyes, breathing in the scent of wet earth and freedom. Around you, the night sings again. Crickets, frogs, the whisper of wind reborn. Everything is as it should be. You think of the bond that bridged two worlds tonight, a plea, an answer, a life saved. Somewhere in that quiet connection lies the truest heart of nature, not power but mercy. The danger has passed, peace has returned, and the savannah rests once more.